And good afternoon. My name is Ryan Belmore. I'm the owner and publisher of What's Up Newport. It is Wednesday, January 25th, just past 2 p.m. And after a short holiday break, we are getting our conversations back going again here. And who joins us every single month is Newport School Superintendent Colleen Jermain. Colleen, how are you?
How you doing, Ryan? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And Frank is going to be joining us as well. Frank, I can see you in the background. Just wave for me a little bit to see if your Wi-Fi is working there. Or we'll just pull you up and nope. Frank still does not have a face, although he has a name. How are things kicking off at Newport Public Schools in the new year?
We're off to a very fast start. The construction project over at Rogers High School continues. The campus is amazing as far as the amount of work they've been doing. They worked continuously through the holidays. The road behind the gym over on the Old Fort side for bringing the construction materials as far as soil and all that, that's an ongoing process now. They're starting to dig this week, actually just yesterday, the new foundation. So they're starting to go down to get that foundation ready and set. Let's see, the schools are back in full swing. Today it was a early release day for our teachers and students. Teachers are participating right now as we speak in different professional development opportunities throughout the district. And last night we had an amazing musical performance at the Thompson Middle School. It was standing room only. The band was fantastic. The chorus, the orchestra. It was just it was a magical night. It was really a great night for everyone. And our Don Chilton, Danya Hadi, Brianna Barine did a wonderful job. And then Nicole Eichart, our art teacher over there, had a fantastic art display. And it's all due to the supervision and teamwork led by Diane Sheehan. Mayor, he goes by Mayor Sai, but Cam Savaravong, I believe, he was there as well. He presented the award to our middle school student who received for her Christmas card, Serena, I believe her name is. So it was a fun night. It was a really fun night. We're getting ready, listening to the call of the governor as far as looking at education in general, as far as how our children are doing, student achievement and growth. And we're really kind of rolling up our sleeves. I've been reaching out to different educational advocates throughout the state, Annenberg and others, Nellie Mae, to just have conversations specifically focused on Newport in the sense of how do we address the growth and achievement in our district and really heed the call of the governor wanting to try to match the Massachusetts gains and achievement levels. I do believe that we do have a talented teaching force that can address that. It's just the how we get there. So we're looking forward to having more conversations about that, setting up some strategic plans, and there'll be a workshop on February 9th, I believe it is, February 9th, with our Newport Public School Committee. We're going to share our RICAS, our PSAT data, student achievement data, as well as some of the initiatives we've put in using our ESSER funding and the implications that has as far as our results showing or not. And then we're also going to give a budget preview for the coming year, along with some ideas about how we tackle our Rogers High School project, which does have a budget gap right now due to COVID escalation. But there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there certainly is. Before I pitch a question at you here, I just want to say hi, Frank. How are you?
Well, I'm okay, and hopefully the computer doesn't act up.
That's all right. There we go.
I wanted to
take right over.
Well, real quickly, but I want to stay on Rogers for a moment. And what are we talking about? How big is the financial gap? And is it? Are you approaching it from a number of different ways, looking at fundraising, but also looking at scaling back the project?
We have scaled the project back already through value engineering, and we have cosmetology and automotive for the time being have now, after it wasn't in, then we put it in, it's now pulled out. And location of central office. What's that?
Call Jay.
Yeah, I know, really. He's been traveling. He's been in California lately. I have been tracking his whereabouts. So anyways, we do have that out. Central office, which I consider the least of all of that because it's most important to focus on the kids programs. And then the track and field. So dollar amount wise, 20 million right now due to the COVID escalation. And that's why we had to pull those out. So that's where we are right now. We've been value engineering to get within budget, stay within budget. And now I think it's a matter of, I know it sounds, now I'm like, oh, it's 2 million, 3 million. But we still have a little bit of a gap, but it's something very doable that we can manage.
So what happens with the track and field? The fields go away and you look for other venues?
So I don't know if... Ideally, no, the tracks don't go away because that is, it's very important and key to especially our student body, where we have a lot of our children that participate in track and also get a lot of scholarships in that area for further, post high school education. So we'll continue to look at different venues. We just submitted a grant, a national grant, a Department of Ed grant today, trying to get additional funding, regarding our energy efficiencies we're putting in, using the high school as a teaching tool. And then we're also looking into foundations. We're looking into other grant opportunities. We have not gone the route yet of fundraising. I think that's something we want to try to, we will explore that. I'm not saying we're not going to explore that. But right now, we're just trying to see what's available as far as the grants that are out there. The other thing we are doing, and I have done, is I've reached out to other fellow superintendents that are doing construction projects in their communities, because Newport's not the only one that's facing this COVID escalation, inflation, et cetera, and who also, as I believe the last time we talked, filed for these projects pre-COVID. So the numbers we had in there were during a very different time and space. And now that we're in a new place post-COVID, I believe there are several communities that are facing the same possible challenges that we are in our budget. And I'm hoping that through the General Assembly and our leaders up at the State House, we could use some of that surplus to put towards these educational facilities that are having these challenges. But we'll wait and see how that turns out. So that's going on. We're also, there may be a possibility we may have to file another stage 1 application in the future for those programs and the track and field that we have not been able to put into this project. The downside of all of this, as we know, is the longer you delay these kind of things, prices never go down. They just go up. So that's where we are.
Colleen, I'm wondering if you can help me. Oh, hold on one second, Frank. Colleen, wondering if you can help me understand all of the talk that has been out there a little bit recently. The gymnasium. Help me understand what's going on with knocking the gymnasium down, not knocking it down. Maybe you can help us understand where are the facts?
Oh, no, you're going to be, I'm going to be, all right, that shares the bad news. All right, the Rogers High School Gymnasium, a place we all love, and as a Viking myself, have many fond memories, was in the very original plans way back about 2.5, 3 years ago. we wanted to keep that gym. All of us wanted to keep that gym. And the more we explored it, the more they looked at the facility, the more they looked at the new codes, the more they looked at utilities, the whole 9 yards. It was eventually deemed 2.5 years ago, back further, it's not possible. We're not going to be able to do that. So instead, it was voted, we won't keep the gym. And then that's when, I don't know if people remember, we said, well, we can pull up the floor, we can get the flooring for people if they want that, similar to what we wanted to do with the auditorium and the chairs. And then what happened, I would say, now I believe this is what happened, because I'm not sure how this ever, it was like, oh my gosh, now we're going to save the gym. I thought, I went back in time. I was like, wait a minute, what year is this? And what happened was, I think it wasn't the last school building committee meeting. It was about 2.5 weeks ago. At the meeting, as they were doing the value engineering, and they're saying, okay, we're not going to have the automotive, we're not going to have this, we're going to have to kind of reduce the size of the building. That means we're coming in more on the property away from where the gym stands now. And so we knew that. And so during the conversation, looking at the building high school principal, Mr. Vance, because then, well, is a silver lining in all this that we can keep the building standing for a little bit longer instead of taking it down during the summer? We were going to take it down this summer of 2023. And the contractor said, yes, we can put that off, and we can put off that until probably February of 2024 in the timeline. So I walked out of that meeting thinking, okay, so, let's try to look at the positive side. It's, we don't like the delay. We don't like that, we're having these budget problems, but okay, that's good. The next thing I know, the next day we have people having meetings about saving the gym. And I'm like, the gym? What gym? The Rogers High School gym. So now we have that going on. So we have had conversations at the last the last meeting we had just this past Monday night. We had a neighborhood meeting for the, abutters and the people in this area, because construction's ramping up more, the foundation's being going deeper, and we wanted to keep them informed. And at the same time, we wanted to have a conversation about the Rogers High School gym. It is going to be demolished. It is not there. The complications, basically we would have to start from ground zero. We would have to do a total redesign of the project we have now. Because the gym in the new building is kind of the centerpiece.
Yay. I was hoping you'd pull out the props.
Yes, I brought this in case you asked.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can do this camera right. Okay, this is the gym.
Okay.
So it's right there in the front of the building, kind of as the centerpiece of when you come in. You'll notice all the glass, and this is an older rendering. I think there's more glass even now, but that's what it looks like. Here's a side view. I'm not a good Vanna.
It's all right. You're doing a great job.
Okay, so there you go. So you see, so if we took that gym out, the entire building would have to be redesigned. Now, excuse me for saying this, but cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And we already have a $20 million gap on what the voters wanted and what we want for all our children, those 2 programs and a new track and field. So now if we stop everything, the implications are enormous as far as even our bond repayment being ready. We have to have a certain completion of the project for when we start paying off on the bond that the city went forward on. We also will most likely not make the timelines for reimbursement from the state for the 52.5% reimbursement. The utilities, there's just a lot. I'm happy to bring my owner's project manager who can be more technical and share those details. I just know this morning we have a weekly meeting every Wednesday on 7:30. So we're debriefing about where we are in the project and whatnot. And this came up, and I said, people, I think a lot of people that were at that Monday night meeting, and we all love the gym, and we would all, there's a lot of history there, but new memories, new histories going forward can happen. But I think a lot of people left saying, okay, I get it, but I still think there's a contingency that may not be getting it. And as I said to my construction manager, architect, and owner's project manager, we really need to be clear with the public, because if anything, I would love to harness all that energy that is there to help support, keeping that gym, and put it towards the programs we're losing and the track and field we can't build right now. So, that's where we are. And you have me having to broadcast to everyone that we really, really don't think it's possible at all. And it's already been voted on not to keep the Rogers High School gym.
Well, as you know, I get both sides, all sides of every single issue. And I figure since I'm going to have you on, I might as well just get the facts and where we actually are in the sorry for, I haven't seen you in 2 months and I ask you such a villain question. So.
No, well, you see, I brought it over because I thought he's going to ask me.
You're just a troublemaker, Ryan.
He's going to ask me.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, Frank.
So bottom line, Colleen, is it's huge financial. That's right, huge financial implications if you kept the gym, and this is what needs to be done. What are the financial implications by losing cosmetology and automotive if those programs can't be restarted?
Well, and here's part 2 of that story. So in the decisions in the value engineering and not including those 2 programs, we're keeping at this moment the present Career and Tech Center building, and we're rerouting the drive from Old Fort, as well as the utilities coming into the campus. So they go to the new building, but they go around the sitting NACTAC building. So that building right now, and I'm always cautious to say as of this moment right now, is staying until we find a way of getting those programs into the new building.
So the programs aren't lost, only the new facility.
As of this moment, that's fair. As of this moment, yes, we're doing everything and anything because we have children already in those programs. We literally have 2 car agencies that have a list, like a waiting list for some of our kids to graduate, to go right into well-paying jobs. We want to continue that and grow that. And we have people in the cosmetology small business program as well that we need to keep them going, and we need to make sure we're doing what our number 1 priority is, and that is being here for the students and their education. And that's why we're doing that. And I thank the value engineering working group that came up with that solution, working with our owner's manager, Downs, Joe DeSanti, for coming up with that solution, at least for the time being. We're not crazy about it because that impacts the track and field and does not allow us to consider that at all until we address that. So it's almost like a domino effect. We build a new building, maybe someone wins the lottery or something happens, we're able to include that building is being specifically designed and has been from the beginning, from lessons learned from Pell, to have place and room for growth and expansion. So those modules that are being taken off right now, there's still room to build them. And we'll do that if we get the financing. And then from there, we would most likely take down the Career Tech Center and then build that brand new track and field state-of-the-art thing. If you think about the track and field, as I mentioned earlier, where many of our students get a lot of scholarships and it enables them to go on to higher ed. Our track and field students, athletes have not been able to have a home meet on this campus in almost 15 years.
Wow.
Their home turf, their place, they go to most of their track and field. I was talking to some of the kids the other day. They do it at PCTA. They go to Providence, and that's where they hold their meets. As a matter of fact, when they do their practices now, I'm in another location, as you know, but this is what I'm going to do. See that out there? That's the new bus loop, temporary bus loop. That's what they use after hours. They run this, so I get to watch them practice. They run this sprint and loop for their practices right now.
So is the rumor correct that the central office is going to be located in an igloo someplace out in back of the building?
No, it's going to be the Winnebago. Miss Nash and I are planning on that Winnebago. And in the summer, we'll drive it down to First Beach and we'll just drive around town. And then when we have to go visit schools, we'll just drive the central office.
Sounds like a great idea.
There you go.
How's your staffing? Are you at full staff?
We're at full staff. Yes, we're at full staff. We're planning already for next year. As I shared, we're running through the first draft of the budget. We're hoping to share with the City Council mid-February, very soon. We've had several conversations already. We're looking at our program of studies up here at the high school and making sure with the new high school graduation regs, what students now need in order to graduate. We're getting ready and we're planning. The first class that must meet all those new regs are the present grade 7 students. So we're starting to align that. For those in the audience that may not know that have children in school, when children graduate from the high school now, they need to have 2 consecutive years of modern language, the same language. It does not mean they have to take it 2 years in a row, but it does mean when they go to graduate, their transcripts need to show 2 years of modern language. That impacts our middle school because we're trying to look at our middle school to see, so not to close options when children go to the high school in grade 8, if we can start offering that one of those high school modern language requirements down at the middle school. There's also a requirement now as far as the math. Math is and has always been, I think, 3 years, 4 years or of a math like. Now they're saying 4 years of math. And we're looking at that sequencing as well, because children are usually better prepared to handle the geometry than the algebra. So we're looking at our sequencing there in our math. And that's also part of very, very early discussions. We need the math department chairs, we need the math teachers, we need everyone. How are we going to address this going forward, starting in the next year or two to implement these changes?
Projections I have seen say as many as 40 some odd % of teachers might not come back next year. Are you hearing those numbers, and how will that impact Newport?
I am not hearing those numbers. In Newport, we have something in our contract where we require a 2-year notice as far as someone's going to retire. So I'm not hearing that. I think, as a matter of fact, I think I only have about 2 retirements possibly this year. I'm not hearing that, but I also, like other districts, the areas of math and science are huge, and we'll be watching that very carefully. We have some very, very talented, bright teachers this year that have just come out of university or college with their teaching certificates. Some of them have emergency math certification, and I have to say they're doing a great job. They're also simultaneously taking math courses to be certified. So that will be an area we'll continue to focus on.
Colleen, we've been sharing your newsletter every single Wednesday that you send out on our website, but wondering, what's your call to action if you were going to have one for the parents out there today?
The call to action for parents.
Yeah.
We need to work. We all need to work together as a team and focus on academics and focus on our children, what they're doing in school, how they're doing in school, staying on top of them as far as their coursework, making sure children are staying involved in school. I can't emphasize enough the importance of children being involved, no matter what it is, after school, whether it's in a club, an activity.
Well,
more involved in other activities, they need to do that. But making school and education a priority. More than ever, I grew up with this mantra, education is the one thing no one can take away from you. So everything you do is yours and will always be yours. And I think for our families, we need to continue that mantra or bring that back. Let's focus on education. And it's just something we always need, and you never stop. So,
Colleen, I'm hearing from other districts about a lot of concern about behavioral health. Some concerned about absenteeism among students and faculty, and feeling that they're not filling the behavioral health positions within the school department. What's the situation in Newport?
In Newport, we're very lucky, Frank. I think we might be an outlier there. We did last year, we received a grant. We received an additional grant this year from RIDE. We put in for a private foundation grant. So our staffing in our middle school, we really beefed up based on teacher requests, leadership, principal requests, etc. So we've got a full team. Am I going to say it's enough? I don't think in any industry or any location you can say right now addressing mental health or helping supporting people is enough. I think there are things we don't know about yet. And I also believe that we just need to be very, very cautious and watch our students and staff and make sure we have the supports in place for them. But for right now, you know what? I'm going to take that back. We did have, we had a psychologist position, I think, at the elementary. They did leave mid-year. So I do believe I still have that position open, and that's been posted. But we had been fully staffed, and we received other supports outside to help our schools.
Colleen, we had a comment on our newsletter, but I think it's better to see if it's actually an issue first. But does Newport have that much bigger of a student body that is English as a second language compared to the rest of the school districts in the state? Is it a large portion?
Comparatively, I believe we do. Yes, we're at 19%, 20%. Let's see. If you look at the numbers from other districts, but those are districts that primarily, if you look at their demographics, that is the population they have within their school district. I always say this, that Newport is, in my opinion, have to do a fact check on this, but I believe we're the most diverse community in the state. And the reason I say that for the public and everyone to understand, our population is about 37% Hispanic, 36% white, 19% Black, and then we're, I think, 4 American Indian, 3 Asian. So we have a wide spectrum, whereas you go to other communities that they're populations are more a majority in one of the categories, whereas Newport is more, especially between white and Hispanic, spreading out. And then you have the 19 to 20% Black. So if you look at that, as a matter of fact, we were noted, I think 2 or 3 years ago, the most diverse community in the state. Our L population, when I arrived, I think it was about 4%, 5%. Like I mentioned before, we're at 19%. We're still rising. We have I believe, an excellent relationship and a community partnership with Conexión Latin. And our teachers and the Conexión Latin staff, we work together after school on weekends, and we help provide supports there, and to be a welcoming school district for our students. So I would say yes.
All right. Well, with that said, I will throw this out very quickly because I know we're running over time. Rita, who says she was a Middletown school teacher years ago, asked if the superintendent is able to get money from the state to pay for English as a second language students, as the cities and towns cannot afford to pay for this. Also, big problems for the school when the budget exceeds what they can ask for. I'm triggering some things here. Also, is she able to keep the test scores separate, as the final result does not show the actual learning that is being achieved? And I'm going to keep the rest out. But wondering if with such a high percentage of ESL, does it bring down the test scores for the whole district, or is it a way to keep it separate? Is there any additional funding for ESL?
All right. Well, I'm going to start with the test scores. Test scores are, on a whole, it's the entire population, as Rita's saying. But in the test scores, and you'll see at our workshop, we do break down those test scores by subpopulations, all the populations, all the demographics I just shared. And another one is that I forgot to raise, which is a very important key factor for supporting school districts, is the free and reduced, not free and reduced, I'll call it the poverty level, children that qualify for free and reduced public lunches or public meals. Newport is at 70%, 70. We also have IEP population students that have been identified with special needs at 20%. Those are high. Both those numbers are high. So Rita, that's even broken down. So we have the demographics for testing broken down. You can see those in our workshop, and we'll have that all posted, as well as the poverty and special ed. Good point. There's categorical aid in the governor's budget and in the legislative budget for students that are multi-language learners or ELL. I have to tell you that it's changed so much. It's called ESL, ELL, EL, MLL. They're all children that do not use English as a primary language. There is categorical aid, a column of categorical aid, and Newport's right now, the tentative for that aid for Newport is increasing based on our population and the number of children that are EL. The funding formula is something that I know Ryan Pearson in the Senate has been looking at quite a bit. And the funding formula, and I think it was Dr. Wong, when he did that, I was in Providence at the time when the formula was created. And now I know they're looking at it up at the state level as far as they believe it should change, or we need to readdress it, because the population and times have changed and our students have changed within our communities. So one of the things that we're advocating for, and I did meet with Representative Abney last Friday on this one, is that Newport would, which I believe a lot of other districts, along with the Superintendent's Association, would like to see the Every Student Succeeds Act pass in the legislature. This is about giving an extra boost or bonus to those students that are identified as eligible for free and reduced, or identified for poverty, because poverty does matter. It does matter. I don't care what anyone says. It matters. And if you have children that don't have quiet places to study, they don't have the resources at home, they don't have food to eat, they worry about where they're going to sleep every night, it makes a difference when they're trying to learn. So there is that. There's also the funding for special ed, high-cost special ed services districts. That's another thing that we're advocating for, that continue for all districts. That's an equalizer among all districts. I'm going to say it again. That's an equalizer in the sense that almost every single district has that. I seriously wonder, because of the changing demographics in the state, nationwide, everywhere, that one of the elements that may want to be considered in that quadratic formula is multi-language learners, because I do not see that going down in public schools in the coming years. And if we're going to put a funding formula in place that's for 10 years, I think we need to be realistic about what we, at least now, with the best information and data we have now, what most likely will happen going forward. So that is another consideration. But that's a good question. And the answer is yes, there is funding put aside for those districts that do have larger, higher percentages of EL, MLL students who do not speak English as a first language.
Colleen, I have one more question, and quick answer is fine. Are there any more discussions on regionalization?
The door is open.
Okay.
There's your short answer of the day.
Yeah, that's a short answer. That's a short answer. Any talks going on, or is that, or it's too early for that?
No, it's not too early, and there have been. I credit Lynn Tungett over at Newport this week. She's been holding workshops for the community, open to all, to have those discussions continuing. I think the reality is most people understand and realize at one time or another we're going to have to regionalize. It just doesn't make sense when you look at a state as small as ours and so many facilities, and just look at, why, a lot of us have to undergo these construction projects. I think it's a worthy topic to continue. And at the same time, simultaneously, to our friends in Middletown, they do have to keep moving forward, and they have to get something on the page for their community as well. So it's an open topic. The door is not closed, and I welcome any conversation. And I believe, as well as my school committee has some feelings about that. And I believe we're going to have that as an agenda item, Frank, for the committee to publicly come out and make a statement. That's what I think. I'm looking over here. That's in the draft for the February agenda.
I'll keep that in mind.
Colleen,
Okay.
anything we missed today? I know we're running a bit behind. I can already see the school buses taking off.
Oh, that's the late bus, because remember, they had an early release today.
That's
I know, that's pretty good. That's 2:47. Usually I have the 4 o'clock, 4:30 bus going by. No, that's the late bus. We're just we're rocking and rolling in Newport. We're really want to, get a good, solid plan, to the call to action for parents and community. We all need to wrap our arms around improving student achievement and growth, and how do we work together to support each other. Our teachers work really, really hard, but they can't do it alone. We need everyone involved in this. And I actually, when the governor made his speech about matching Massachusetts 2030 and all that, I've actually reached out to that office saying, Newport, let us know. We want to be part of this. We are there to help all our students, soar, be successful, and show Rhode Island can do this. And Newport, especially. Newport would love to be a role model for all this.
There you go. One quick note while we were talking about education, I just want to let everybody know that the Newport Night Run is returning on April 1st. Benefits Newport Public Education Foundation, just in case we have anybody who wants to participate in that.
Thank you.
Produced by Gray Matter Marketing. And I think that's, I have one quick, very, very quick question. I just went through American Red Cross CPR class, adult first aid, AED, pediatric. And my thought is, man, everybody should do this.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of people in the class that were doing it because of, what recently happened with the Buffalo Bills football player. Has there ever been anything where they have tried to institute or bring this to high schools?
Oh,
Where
yes,
high
we
school
have
seniors-
CPR training. Yes, we do.
Oh.
We do it. Our PE teacher, I think one of our PE teachers does it. We have it. They could today on the professional development day be doing it for some of our coaches or some of our students who, for instance, especially in the spring, if they're going to lifeguard or anything like that, we do offer that here. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Just wondering.
Okay. Right. There you
Frank,
go.
anything else, my friend?
No, I think we're good. Colleen, thank you much.
Oh, you're
Always
welcome.
a lot of information, lots of stuff going on. And
There always is.
There always is.
keeps you up at night.
Well, no, I sleep well at night. I just have the attitude every day is a new adventure. So you take it one day at a
There you
time.
go.
One day at a time.
That works.
Yep,
There you go.
it
Thanks
does.
for taking this adventure with us. We'll see you next month.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you, Colleen.
All right. And that is Colleen Burns Jermain. And there you are, Frank. Now we are on equal footing.
Yeah, there we go.
I just want to make a note that next Wednesday, February 1st at 4 p.m., we will be joined by Mayor Sy, Newport Mayor Sy. He and if he's watching this, I haven't gotten back to your email yet, but yes, you'll be joining us next Wednesday at 4 p.m.
That's great.
And all right, Frank, lots of good info there.
Yeah,
I think we
good
learned a
stuff.
thing or two.
And we'll a few other people we're gonna get on videocast, and we'll let you know when we get those actually scheduled.
There you go. All right, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. On behalf of Frank Process, myself, and all of us here at What's Up Newport, we want to thank Superintendent Colleen Burns Jermain for joining us. She joins us every single month, last Wednesday of the month, somewhere in this time zone of early afternoon. And if you miss any portion of this interview, want to share it, you can find it on whatsupnoop.com. Watch it anytime afterward or live as it happens. We also turn it into a podcast afterwards as well, all available on our website. Thanks for watching.